as wealth.
Why do you feel that gap is there?
Well, slavery
Mm.
has a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
We were working and not getting paid for what we did.
Mm-hmm.
So the majority community, they continue to grow, and then the wealth building tools were passed on to them, and it just wasn't in our community.
How, do you think we can, or how can we try to stimulate that wealth creation in our community?
Well, we know about the real estate. We talk about home ownership. That's one way. But life insurance is our opportunity to pass on hundreds of thousands and $1 million if something, not if, but when we pass away. And I just don't know of anything that would generate that amount of wealth at one time.
And I think you bring up a good point, at one time. And I think when we talk about life, building wealth, building our families, building our community, we have to tap into strategies to help us grow financially, right? Life insurance is a tool. It, again, I said earlier, it is leverage on how we can continue to build our financial portfolio. If you look at a financial portfolio and life insurance is nowhere in the equation, or you may be saying, I already got life insurance, but it may be a life insurance product, it may be a term, it may be 10,000. There's no riders, there's no living benefits, there's no cash value. You know, what would you say to that? And again, I'm not saying that that is a bad product, but are you getting the most out of what you could be getting for a life insurance product? And that's something you have to think about, because a lot of times, you know, people say, you know, I've heard people say, I already have a policy, but it's not a policy that has all of the advantages that they could have. Right. And I think that's where we're coming from. That's where I'm coming from. That's where Mr. Taylor's coming from. Make sure you have a policy. It has a bandwidth to grow with you as you're growing financially. Talk about that a little bit, your thoughts around a policy that has the bandwidth to grow with a person as they grow in life.
Well, again, that's legacy building, and you want to protect your insurability to get this, because the only way that you can get this is you have to be insurable, or you have to be healthy. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, you can't get it. And again, everything that we are talking about, when it is involving it, it is tax-free. And I keep saying tax-free because if you are building wealth through the other vehicles, even when it's through a home, it's going to be taxed in some kind of way. But if we use a properly structured life insurance policy, that just allows us to accumulate enormous cash because it's tax-free.
And I think you said a key word, accumulation. And see, certain products is not the kind of products where you want to get it and you think cash is going to grow overnight. Can we talk about that? So now, how does cash value really grow? Does it happen overnight?
Not overnight, and that's why I had mentioned earlier that the younger you are, the longer you would have the growth, because it's time.
So it takes time. What I'm hearing from you, it takes time for the cash value to grow. Now I heard something about paid up additions can allow the cash value to grow quicker. What are your thoughts on that?
That's true.
Okay.
That is true. Because again, it is growing and is tax free. And the rule of 72, I don't know if you're familiar with the rule of 72, but that is you're going to take 72 and divide it by the interest rate, and that's going to tell you how long it's going to take your money to double. For an example, let's say that typically with the policies usually have about an 8 to a 9% growth rate, which tells us that, so we're going to take, let's say it's 9%, and we're going to take it and divide it into 72. So that's telling us that every 8 years, our money will double. And that's compounding, doubling effect, and it's all tax free. For an example, let's say you have 100,000 in cash. 9 years later, that 100,000 will double to 200,000.
Okay.
9 years later, that 200,000 now has doubled to 400,000. Another 9 years, 800,000.
Compound interest.
Compound interest, and that's why I call it the equalizer.
The equalizer.
And it's all tax free.
The equalizer.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a new term. That, I mean, it's not a new term, but it's a new way of for me to think about life insurance. Life insurance is the equalizer.
The equalizer.
Now, going back to the paid up additions. Now, paid up additions, if an individual wanted that type of policy, are they paying more upfront in the beginning?
Well, if you are comparing it, let's say to term, you will be paying more upfront initially, but over the long run, it isn't. Always say just compare it to renting. When we first go out into the world, we usually rent. Why do we rent? Because it's cheaper.
Cheaper, okay.
Okay. But over the long run, let's say you're renting for 15 years. Now, what do you have at the end of the 15 years?
Well, in some cases, I mean, some people are paying their mortgages off in 15 years.
Some people, that's if they had a home. But if you're renting,
what are you paying off?
The only thing you have at the end of the 15 years is just a bunch of receipts.
Receipts, right.
So even though it started out cheaper, over the long run, it isn't, because you get nothing back for it.
I get it.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, this has been a powerful conversation. As we get ready to wrap up and wind down our dialogue on tonight, what final words would you like to share, Mr. Ed?
Well, you had mentioned earlier how folk need to get a life insurance checkup. So I'm here with you. I would advise people to give you a call. That way you can do that checkup for them, and it wouldn't cost them anything at all. You had mentioned earlier, some people think that their plan is good. Let's just get a checkup and see.
Yeah.
Doesn't cost you anything at all.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to close with.
Listen, and my contact number is 443-799-6529. Again, that's 443-799-6529. If you want to send me an email, you can do that also. It's ct@catherinetrotter.com. Again, tonight's conversation, I think you just retitled it to The Equalizer. So I'm actually about to make a note to myself. And that's how I'm going to view it all 2024. And I hope every listener now and listeners that will hit the replay is that life insurance is the equalizer. You know, we all come from various backgrounds, places, and we're all in different stages in our life. But life insurance can equalize us all, no matter what zip code you come from, no matter where you come from. we can all be on the same playing field and we can all grow our wealth, because life insurance is an equalizer. Life insurance will allow you to have leverage. Life insurance can also be used as a collateral assignment if you're trying to do different business deals. And so think about life insurance as leverage, and it is the ultimate equalizer. Thank everybody for tuning in, listening. Share this information with someone else. Again, all month long, we're doing reviews, life insurance policy reviews, to see if you have the best policy put together for you and your family. If it's just you, we will look at the individual policy. If you have a family policy, we'll look at that. If you don't have anything in place for your children, let's talk. If you're a business owner, right, and you don't have key person insurance, let's talk. If you're a homeowner and you're not really sure if you have that extra mortgage protection, we need to have a conversation. If you're in the not-for-profit sector and you don't know much about endowments, let's have a conversation. Tonight was about evening out the playing field, because life insurance is the ultimate equalizer. See everybody next week.